Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. So we are back with Tuesday theme stream episode 4, and this one is Son of Batman. The month of September was Batman themed, and we are drawn to a close. So I figured 2 that you well know, 2 that are not well known. I did the first 2 were Batman 89 and The Dark Knight. And the other 2 were Batman versus Ninja Turtles, which I did last week, and this one, which is Son of Batman, which introduced Damian Wayne as Robin. So we have also a moment of silence for David McCallum, who was a voice actor in this movie. He played Alfred, and he also played Ducky in NCIS, which he gave a great performance. So we are going to have a small moment of silence for him because he has passed away yesterday. So David McCallum, thank you so much for your work. And our moment of silence begins now. Okay. So, this movie was directed by Ethan Spalding. I got my talking points here. And it stars the voice talents of Jason O'Mara as Batman. Honestly, second best Batman voice. Thomas Gibson as Deathstroke. Morena Baccarin as Talia Al Ghul. Giancarlo Esposito as Ra's al Ghul. David McCallum as Alfred. And Stuart Allen as Damian Wayne. And this movie is about Batman learning he sired a child who is now fixated on vengeance himself over the death of his grandfather, Ra's al Ghul. Now, I do also have the list of the cast, as you guys can see here. Everybody knows Morena Baccarin. I mean, she's one of those very attractive actresses. And Thomas Gibson, who is from Criminal Minds, I believe it was. He also did a few other things like that adaptation of Into the West with the Monkey King and whatnot. Having him as a villainous character as Deathstroke, Slade Wilson, honestly, I thought was a pretty good choice. He actually brought a lot to it. Giancarlo Esposito as Ra's al Ghul. I thought that he also twisted his voice a little bit to do a very good job with that one. Jason O'Mara as Batman. I once had a hot take where I actually preferred this voice actor of Batman over Kevin Conroy, and boy, did I get a lot of shit for that. But honestly, I did relent, and I do think that Jason O'Mara, if not better, is a very close second to Kevin Conroy. I do like Kevin Conroy as Batman, don't get me wrong. However, Jason O'Mara actually does a good job as Batman too, you know? So we then have the beginning of this movie at the League of Assassins, where Ra's al Ghul is telling Damian about his legacy, and the League of Assassins how they're going to bring a whole new world order without the abuse of man. There's just one problem. The League of Assassins are, well, part of mankind. So, yeah. And we then see that the League of Assassins gets attacked by another faction, which we learn is Deathstroke's men. They don't skimp on the blood in this movie, folks. The DCAU did a great job with violence and with blood and gore. They knew where to put it and they knew where not to put it. And this movie, they didn't skimp on it. However, they didn't get overly gory either, which is great. And we also see digital animation in this movie where there is the helicopters are all digital creations other than drawn in, which is good that they didn't do that too much. I mean, you also have the digital Batmobile and the digital Batwing. Blending digital and a paper medium is all well and good. I just feel that it should never be overdone in a film, you know? So, yeah. We then see the death of Ra's al Ghul versus Deathstroke, because Deathstroke was ticked off that he got kicked out of the League of Assassins in this particular universe. And we then see that, let's see here. We can take that down and share this one instead. Alrighty. So then we see that he's leading Ra's al Ghul to a certain spot in his temple or in his stronghold. And then they just unleash a bunch of rockets at Ra's al Ghul. And he starts burning to death. And when I say that they don't skimp, they don't skimp. They show him burning. So it's like, oh, damn. And then they show him like almost or burnt skin everywhere on him, like striped burnt patches of skin and stuff. They really do sell it very well. And before I go any further, hello to the chat. We got Neozoic and somebody else in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. David, yes, Rip David McCallum. He provided such great work as Ducky and as Alfred in the DCAU. Son of Batman is an adaptation of Grant Morrison and Adam Kubert's 2016 Batman and Son storyline with some differences, of course. Yeah, they had to have it fit the DCAU because the DCAU had already had, I do believe, 2 other films before this, which was the Flashpoint Paradox and the Justice League War before, or the one where Batman takes Green Lantern's ring. I absolutely love that scene. Now, Stuart Allen did a very good job playing Damian Wayne, voice acting. He plays, or the way that they wrote Damian Wayne in this, being trained by the League of Assassins, he's a genius like his father. He is indeed a genius like Batman is, because Bruce Wayne, as psychotic as he is also a genius. And I think that it is expressed very well in each medium that this man is indeed a genius, as his son is too. But he's also very condescending. He also thinks very highly of himself. He's overbloated with ego, as well as his training as an assassin. I mean, this boy is like 10 years old, and yet, or 10 or 11, possibly 12. His voice isn't or hadn't broken yet. So I'm guessing he's probably 10 to 11. But yeah, he gets, or after Deathstroke is about to do the coup de grace on Ra's al Ghul, well, Damian steps in and starts fighting him, and Deathstroke gets pinned down by debris. How did I get here in time? Hey, at least you're here, man. Thank you for tuning in, Hatersaurus. And I like how we see how Slade will. It's because I always knew that Deathstroke had one eye. He was always known for his one eye, but he had 2 eyes. So it's like, how's he going to lose his eye? Well, they show you. They literally show a sword go straight into his eye by Damian Wayne. And I'm like, oh, shit, they didn't skimp there, did they? So, we then see Slade run, and from what I remember from the animated series, Ra's always had another person there, a bigger, muscular, bald guy named Ubu. Well, it turns out that Ubu betrayed Ra's al Ghul, and yeah, he's now basically in Slade's camp, Deathstroke's camp. So we then see that Ra's al Ghul disappeared from where he was. He was dragging himself to the Lazarus pit and literally dies inches. Here's the pit where my finger is. This is where his hand was. An inch or two from the pit. So Damian is getting ready to put him in, but Talia stops him. It's like, the pit can't revive somebody who is, or a body that is this damaged. He is dead. And it's time to take you to your father. We're going to Gotham City. Hey, Vanya, good to see you, buddy. And thank you for tuning in, man. Also, folks, make sure to smash that like button if you haven't. It does help out the channel more than you know. It helps get the channel noticed. It also helps you guys see more of my content in the recommendations. I am doing my best to get my watch time up to 4,000 hours. I still need 8,000 hours to go. I'm at like 3,046. I need the 4,000 to start earning ad revenue. So if you can, please do help. All the help is appreciated to getting the time up. So we then see that, or we go to Gotham City, and Batman is currently engaging Killer Croc at a pharmaceutical lab, where Croc is on, basically he's juiced up on steroids and he has a tail now. And so this is a nice fight between Killer Croc and Batman. And it's a nice introduction as well. I mean, it really does fit, or how Batman drops in on him. But before you see him, you also hear him talking. He's like, Waylon Jones, a.k.a. Killer Croc. It's so well done. And, well, he's holding his own against Croc, because now Croc is juiced up on steroids and has a tail. He got an upgrade. And, well, there's only one person that could really help him in that area, and that would be Kirk Langstrom. So, yeah. We know that Kirk Langstrom will be in this movie. And he's also played brilliant by Xander Berkeley. We then see that Batman is having a hard time, and Croc's about to kill Batman, except that Talia Al Ghul shocks the shit out of him and saves her beloved, because she always calls Bruce and Batman beloved. So then she's like, we need to talk. So on her yacht, she explains that Raish, or she's like, my father is dead. Raish? How many fathers do you think I have? It's such a nice line. It's a great line that it's like, how many fathers do you think I have? She's very literal. So that is also a nice little touch. Morena Baccarin doing the voice work for Talia Al Ghul did very well. And a lot of people say that doing voice talent or just reading from a script is a lot easier. Sure, but when you are when you're not able to see how your character is acting and whatnot, you need voice direction. So when you're doing voice direction, that's actually harder to realize. You actually have to picture what your character on the page is doing. You can't just read the line. You actually got to have a right cadence. You got to have the right tone, inflection, and whatnot. So voice acting takes a great deal of effort. It's not as easy as it sounds. So then she introduces him to Damian, and Damian's like, don't look so surprised, father. You're a bit shorter than I was expecting. I mean, he's just so condescending. And I love that. He's like, you expect me to believe this? I assure you, he's yours. And it turns out that Damian is actually a spitting image of his son, or of Bruce, when Bruce was his age, which is later pointed out by Alfred. And so she leaves Damian with Bruce, and I love the dialogue between them. It's like, or I don't need a babysitter, and she's like, your mom feels that it's, or you should stay here with me. And he's like, I'm better off on my own. And so he's like, no, or where? With the League of Assassins? They taught me how to fight, and not much else, I'm guessing. I love Batman's Bruce and Batman's counters to Damian's arrogance is so freaking great in this movie. It just works because it's like they taught me how to fight and not much else. So he then shows him the Batmobile. I'll drive. No. I know how. No. It's I just freaking now. After I made the thumbnail for this, which says the "Justice, not Vengeance" line, I realized that I had accidentally gotten the movie wrong because he's teaching him justice, not vengeance. However, it's not spoken like that in this movie. The line in which Damian says justice, not vengeance is actually in Batman versus Robin, which takes place after this movie and another movie, which was Justice League, The Throne of Atlantis, where there's a whole war between Atlantis and others. But yeah, in that movie, he's actually been established as Robin for about a year, and he's still struggling between justice and vengeance. Because at this point, he is fully in vengeance mode. Damian wants vengeance for the death of his grandfather. Because Ra's al Ghul, to him, was a hero. He was also being groomed. His birthright was to basically lead the League of Assassins. So now he's downgraded, essentially, to, well, he's now his father's son, and he doesn't like that, you know? So they take him they take him home, and we then introduced to Xander Berkeley's Kirk Langstrom, who's been discredited after his Man-Bat incidents, as we all know. And then he gets knocked out, and we then cut to the Batcave, where Alfred, played brilliantly by David McCallum, meets Damian, and he's like, "Hello, Pennyworth. I've read all about you. Where's the rest of the help? I'm the sum total. You only have one servant?" I love that. He's like, "You only have one servant?" Alfred's not a servant. He's a friend. So it really is, I mean, Alfred then has to show him the room. He's like, naturally, you have the whole run of the mansion. You can watch this. You see this WB Looney Tunes episode, which is funny, where this big old freaking mouse comes up on Donald Duck for knocking on the wall. It really is great. How would I compare Thomas Gibson's Deathstroke with other voices of Deathstroke, such as Ron Perlman, Teen Titans, Robin Atkin Downs, Beware the Batman, Bruce Davidson, Crisis on Earth 2. Honestly, the best voice of Deathstroke, in my opinion, is Ron Perlman from Teen Titans. I mean, he did such a great job, Ron Perlman, as Slade, or Deathstroke, but they mostly called him Slade in that. But yeah, he seriously did such a great job, especially when he was a servant of Trigon. I mean, and going after Raven. And boy, folks, that was some dark shit. So, getting back into it, we also see the line where Damian is critiquing, and he critiques the Batcave. He's like, the Batcave is smaller than I expected. He's just such an arrogant little asshole, you know? And honestly, I feel comfortable saying that about a kid because, well, that kid he's an asshole. Damian is an asshole at this point in the movie, but he actually starts to become less impetuous, which is a nice character growth. So the writing is also good in that regard as well. So we then learn that Kirk is held hostage by Deathstroke, and Deathstroke is basically letting Kirk Langstrom know, I'm succeeding Ra's al Ghul. He's been retired. And your family will be kept safe, but they will be kept separate until you finish your work. And you will finish your work sooner rather than later. And then we get the mask pulled down that reveals the one-eyed Deathstroke look. So then we see the next day Bruce is going to work, and Damian is using his grandfather's sword, the one on the wall, which was actually Thomas Wayne's sword, and he's slicing up all the shrubbery or the animal shrubbery outside. And he's like, he's been at it since 5 a.m, sir. And Bruce is like, well, better here than the League of Assassins, you know. And then he actually pays close attention to his son when his son does a swift flourish, cutting down smaller slices, more fine or refined slices. And he's like, he's got talent. I mean, which shows that, well, Bruce is actually, he's like, yeah, this kid's got talent. I'll give him that. And it's a nice acknowledgement. And I love also what Alfred says. He's like, I am rooting for the shrubbery. It really is great, you know. So we then see, let's see here. Langstroms are at the castle, or at this castle called Interlaken, which was a nice touch. Bruce is then at Wayne Enterprises, and Damian is there while Bruce is talking with some of the suits around him. And they're like, wait, what the heck? Your profit margins are down in Argentina. Somebody's skimming revenue. Damian is there looking at, or in Bruce's office, looking at all the stuff and whatnot. And he's like, or and this woman's like, wait, Argentina is my division. Bruce, I will take care of this. What are you doing here? He's like, what are you doing here? Taking a look at my birthright. This all will be mine someday. I mean, holy crap, is this kid ever freaking... he's just really... If I had a kid that... Or if that was my kid, believe me, I'd be teaching him a little bit more manners. I mean, I'd give him a swift kick in the ass if I had to. And we learned that this kid hacked NORAD at 6 years old because he's talking about Ubu, how we need to track him down, and or how they need to track down Ubu to, or he comes to Gotham every now and then to indulge his vices. And it's like, what the frig? And so he's like, how did you get this? This is classified information. You downloaded this from the back computer, didn't you? I hacked into NORAD when I was 6. It was easy. I'm thinking to myself, this kid might actually be smarter than Bruce in some ways. Where Bruce is a genius, don't get me wrong. Bruce Wayne is a genius, folks. However, when he was 6, he wasn't that, or he was more entitled than he was smart. He got his, or he had the aptitude to actually be a genius. He just wasn't, or at that time, he wasn't applying himself. Where this younger version of Bruce, which is Damian Wayne, is really applied, or was forced to apply himself in the League of Assassins. So he wants to avenge his grandfather. He's like, Ubu helped murder my grandfather. He has to pay. Raish was a madman. He was a hero. And it's nice. It is such a nice back and forth, except that Bruce is just done talking about this. So he takes him down, and Alfred is there to pick him up. He's like, you're going to go straight home. You're going to stay away from the back computer. You're not going to go out on your own. You're just going to stay at the mansion. How would I compare David McCallum's Alfred with other voices of Alfred, such as Ephraim Zimbalist from the animated series, Alistair Duncan, the 2004 series, J.B. Blunt? David McCallum did a great job. David McCallum did a great job, and I'm not saying that just because he's dead. I'm saying that because Alfred has a certain look. David McCallum's voice matches that look. He really does match that look, and he does a great job with it. I mean, he does the sarcasm, he does it all perfectly. And you're not going to get many good voice work of Alfred without the original, which was Zimbalist, and but he's definitely a higher up in the comparisons. So Yeah, Damian's in the business. And now he's looking for Ubu to get the death stroke. And, well, yeah. He decides to, or we then see that the League of Assassins are attacking Interlaken. Now, here's a part that I really don't think was very good. It's okay, Damian. You don't have to apologize for being late. Everybody knows that there are life intervenes at times. Hope you're okay. Sorry for being late. Just been checking out some T-Virus Terrence shorts. He just uploaded. Really good. Forward to this review of Son of Batman. Thank you. So, yeah, we see the League of or Talia is going at or after Interlaken. Now we learn later that this was one of Raish's strongholds, one of his mountain strongholds, and it doesn't make sense that she wouldn't know about the defenses there. She literally walks her troops into a trap. Now, these are probably newer defenses, maybe, sure, but still, you'd think she would know about them. I mean, she's also wanting to have vengeance, and she ends up getting caught by a death stroke. So it doesn't really work. And now we get the trip to Arkham, where Batman and Gordon are visiting Croc, and you see you see Joker's silhouette laughing in his cell, and you also see Two-Face flipping his coin. And then we see that Killer Croc's coming down from the juice that Langstrom's on, or put him on. And he's like, you got your last fix from Langstrom, so tell me where he is. Screw you. Batman looks down at his tail and just rips his damn tail off. He rips the tail right off. He's like, they're afraid to medicate you, Croc. Or they're afraid to get too close. But I'm not afraid. Tell me what I want to know, and I'll help you out. Also, Croc is shedding his scales because of the steroids and not being able to get that fix that that keeps him stronger, you know? He's actually starting to regress because of the serum that he was put on. Well, Batman then goes looking for Langstrom. He finds the home abandoned with the throwing star there, which was from the League of Assassins. And we see this mutant gorilla bat that Batman has to fight. Good. I mean, the action in this is actually quite well done. Does a good job, shows good gadgets. And, then a drone flies into Langstrom's place, lighting the place up on fire. So Batman uses a few charges to blow the water towers on the roof, putting it out. And then we see that Ubu's vices are whores, basically. Instead of going to the casino, no, he gets harlots, as Damian Wayne sees, or calls them, because Damian or Ubu knows that somebody is there because, well, one of the harlots, as they say, he's like, and you're going to have to close this window if you want me to take my stuff off. And he's like, and then he starts looking around, pulls his gun, and he shoots the closet because he thinks that somebody might be hiding in the closet. Turns out that it's not. Damian comes crashing down into the window and starts fighting him. And he holds his own very well against Ubu. Ubu is a freaking Hulk in this movie. And he also starts running from Damian, but Damian catches up to him and beats him pretty well. I mean, he starts kicking his ass, man. For a guy like Ubu getting his ass kicked by a freaking scrawny 10-year-old, that tells you that he's had a lot of freaking, he took a lot of damage. Also, take it easy, Neozoic. Hope you have a good day. Take care, Orange, Fonny, Hatersaurus, Damian. Have a good day. Good luck. Peace out, and stay safe. Yep, you too, buddy. So, just as Damian's about to deliver the coup de grace, we see Nightwing kicking to the sides. The Psychos are just getting younger and younger these days. So then we see the beginning of this fight, but we don't see the in-between, we see the beginning and the end of the fight. Because Nightwing calls up Bruce, sliced up and bloody, and he's tied up Damian. He's like, lose something? Not in the mood for games, Dick. What's up? I got a kid here. He says he's your son. I'll be right there. So, yeah. Ubu is now in critical condition at Gotham General. Damian's condescension, at the Batcave, Bruce or freaking Dick's he's like, looks like you can use more anesthetic. And it looks like you can go, and that's when Alfred's like, Master Dick! It's just so freaking funny. And he's like, I could take the stitch, or I could take the cut, I could take the stitch. And so he's like, was this yours? Still is. Looks rather effeminate, don't you? Or all it needs is lace trim and a sun hat. Oh, you're not fooling anybody, kid. You think that you could be Robin. And he's like, I'm way beyond your level of simplistic training, as you very well have seen. Just remember who won that fight, kid. So while Batman's talking with Gordon about Ubu being in the ICU, that's when, or after they hang up, it's like Damian's like, he doesn't deserve to breathe, or he doesn't deserve to breathe. Well, that's when Batman's had enough of this shit. He's like, do you know what you were tonight? You weren't a soldier. You were a child. If it wasn't for him, if it wasn't for Dick, you'd have gone too far. We don't kill. You don't fight crime by becoming a criminal. Now, that is all well and good. It's great writing, don't get me wrong. However, that is contradictory writing because, well, technically Batman is engaging in vigilantism. And in our world, anything that Batman does is fruit of the poisonous tree in law. Any work that Batman does, unless he has been deputized by the Gotham PD, all of anything he does is not helpful to a police officer. Vigilantism actually makes it worse for criminals to get convicted, and makes it harder. But they don't worry about that in cartoons, But that line, we don't fight crime by becoming a criminal. You have to find your center, Damian. He's trying his best to mentor this kid. And he realizes that the kid isn't going to stop going out on his own. He's going to keep going. So the best way to hone this raw talent is to actually let him go out. He's like, so fine, you can come along, but you're going to stick close to me. And so Dick's like, I'm not going to like this, am I? Nope. Because he gets the Robin suit, and they're going to Gordon, and Robin or Damian shows up as Robin, and he's like, another one? Long story. I'll explain later. Okay, well, we found this after looking through the guy's place. And he's like, who's the number to? It's a phone set. Looking down at at Robin, who's looking up at him. It's a phone chat line. He's about to say it's a phone sex line, but kid being around, And so he's like, but that's not the interesting part. The interesting part is on the other end. Now, we then see them at the park because that's where it is, Gotham Coliseum. And we see the flashback of Bruce remembering a happier time. And it's Damian, or rather you think it's Damian because spitting image. Except that Bruce and Damian have different color eyes. Where Bruce has, I believe, blue eyes. Damian actually has green eyes. So he has his mother's eyes. Or eye color at least, but he is a spitting image of his father. So we then see him Oh crap! There was another spot or thing that was in the Batcave because he goes to the Batman goes to the Batmobile and takes out the throwing star that he found and throws it at Damian. He's like, "Heads up," and Damian just catches it like very easily. And he's like, "Good reflexes. What would have happened if I would have missed? It would have hurt." So he's giving him that little bit of tough love, which is nice. And we then learn that they go to the Gotham Coliseum and to the park, and they find Langstrom, and Robin's impatience leads to more trouble because he's like, "Where is Deathstroke? I don't know. You have to believe me. I'll make you talk." Robin, no. But freaking Robin just grabs Langstrom, starts tossing him around, man. Nightwing is awesome altogether. Teen Titans, Judas Contract is another great. Yes. Actually, I do like the Judas Contract. That was actually a pretty good one. And we then see that there are other Man-Bats, which is interesting. So we learned that Langstrom was basically recruited originally by Ra's to build an army that can hunt at night and doesn't use radar. Perfect soldiers, you know? And they hunt using sonar. Well, yeah. After the fight at the Coliseum where his soldiers got their asses handed to him by Robin, we see that Deathstroke is watching the footage, and he confronts Talia, who he's been torturing, because you see blood, or you see her all cut up and shit, and he's like, "So your romance with the Dark Knight wasn't just a rumor. He fights like this Robin fights like an assassin. Who is he? Who is Batman?" And gotta give it to Talia, she doesn't tell him anything. It's like, do what you must. I'm not going to talk. You know? So, yeah. We then see that they're in London because let's see here, further between. Yep. And they find the coordinates to Interlaken. And we also see further debate between Bruce and Damian about their lives. He's like, "I had my traumas, but I also had friends to back me up. Alfred, Dick, and others. You have to find your center, Damian. All you've had are teachers. And leading the world through killing is not going to get you anywhere. You can't fight," or basically reiterating, "justice, not vengeance." He doesn't say it out loud, but that is basically the lesson, you know? So they're at Wayne, they find Interlaken, and they find Langstrom's family. Well, the daughter gives a message to Robin on the DL that shows Deathstroke basically showing Robin his mother had been tortured and whatnot, and he's like, "Leave the sperm donor out of it. Head to these coordinates. We'll finish this fight there. And if Batman shows up, your mother's dead." Well, Wayne Tower in London, Bruce is aware of Deathstroke taking Talia because he found torture or signs of torture in the cells. He then realizes that Damian Wayne ordered room service, but he snuck out and he took the uniform. And I love Damian. I love Dick because he's like, "Bruce, chill. The compound is off the coast of Scotland. It's like 50 miles off the coast of Scotland. What do you think he's going to do? Swim?" Turns out, yeah, the boy swam to fucking... He swam to the freaking compound. It's like you are seriously underestimating Damian Wayne, and I love it. The kid is arrogant. He's an ass. He's impulsive. He barely listens, but he does eventually start listening. He does eventually start learning, you know? So this oil rig, which is not an oil rig, it's actually a Lazarus rig for the Lazarus pits. Basically, the rig pumps out Lazarus pit juice, essentially, which is to be sold to the highest bidder. Well, we then see Robin finally finds Deathstroke, and Deathstroke's holding the mom hostage, and he's like, I mean, I would applaud you, but that would be applauding a suicide. I came here to kill you, Damian. And basically, that's what I'm going to do. Now, he also has a standoff with Damian's mother because he's like, the Lazarus pit couldn't revive Raish. I don't think it's going to be able to revive your mom with her head missing. And he holds the gun. He's like, put down the gun, otherwise your mom's dead. And then he pulls the hammer back on the pistol to show that he's all business. He will actually do it. Well, that's when Batman turns up, and he finds his way down there as he hears the gunshots of Deathstroke shooting at Damian. And in the ruckus, Talia puts herself in between the gun and Damian and ends up getting shot herself. So, yeah, she's now dying. And that's when Batman gets in there and starts handing Deathstroke his ass. So, yeah. Nice shot there. I mean, this movie has great effects, too, with the Man-Bats, how they're flooding the tunnels, because that's when Batman uses sonars to scare them out, but they end up causing a bunch of, they cause one of the tunnels downward to breach. So it starts flooding the lower areas. And you also see a shark that's swimming around the tubes, freaking munch into a Man-Bat. So it's like, oh, damn. And then we get Batman saving Talia by putting her in a Lazarus pit. He knows that the Lazarus pit can revive a body, but however, it chips away at your mental state. Because he's seen that what happens with Ra's al Ghul, he was losing his mind slowly or as the years went on. I mean, he did try taking over the world, so yeah. Nightwing is using the Batwing to shoot out antidotes with Langstrom as the Man-Bats start escaping. So they all start to morph back, which is nice. And Talia's arrived, and then we get Deathstroke versus Robin rematch. Now, folks, when I say that there's brutal fighting in this, I mean there's brutal fighting in this. Frickin' Deathstroke pins Damian's arm to the to a wall with a dagger, and then uses a sword to pin his other arm. So the kid actually has to rip his arm out through a dagger to pull out the sword. Anatomy 101. You do any damage to this area, guess what's going to have a hard time maintaining a solid grip on your weapon? Yeah, your hand. Because if you flex, what is reacting? This area here. Well, Damian just had a freaking dagger through his arm. So it's like, dude, there's no way you'd be able to hold that shit. But it's still, you see that he still fights smart because, well, he is fighting against a more skilled and bigger opponent. And apparently we also learned that Deathstroke was supposed to be marrying Talia. And, well, Deathstroke's basically jealous of Batman. And he almost loses his other eye, but he actually gets it to actually show you guys. He gets one of the Robin throwing stars right here. Not directly in the eye, but right in the flesh area right here, and it's like, damn, dude. That has got, I mean, that would hurt. That would really hurt, you know? Nightwing, yeah. So we then see that he manages to beat Deathstroke, and Deathstroke's like, finish it, kill me. That's what you want, isn't it? He's like, no, not anymore. I'm my father, or you're Talia, or you're Ra's al Ghul's grandson, aren't you? I'm also my father's son. So yeah, he actually finally learns justice, not vengeance. And he finds his mother, who has been revived, and they all get into an escape pod. Now, in this movie, or the part that defeated Deathstroke was also the fact that he stabbed into a Lazarus Pit pumping station, which caused a lot of the Lazarus Pit to pour out on him, and it burnt him severely. However, I'm guessing if he doesn't die down there, well, chances are he would live and probably be enhanced due to the Lazarus Pit effects. So yeah, we then get to the end where Talia is like, the boy, or this is where some of the writing is not good, because I mean, there's no way around it. People nowadays are very base in their nature. They don't understand how words can mean more than just one thing, you know. So she's like, Damian, are you ready to come? And it's like, what? And I'm like, oh God, you should have just, are you ready to go? I would have said, Damian, are you ready to go? I wouldn't have said come, I would have said go. Because holy shit, man, people are obviously going to look at it wrong way. Yeah. And it's like, look what she said. And I'm thinking, wow, just fucking wow. But also Batman is like, he's Robin now. He stays with the Batman. And, well, yeah, Damian wants to stay with the Batman for a while. And she's like, make him great. I have to rebuild the league. The best way to, or the best thing for the league is to disband it. Well, it's too big and it's already unstable, so she needs to bring some stability before that can happen, you know? You actually think that she might actually do it, too. She might actually work to disband the league. But we then get them watching Talia's yacht leave. Let's go home, Damian. I'll drive. No. I know how. No. Again, he wants to drive the freaking Batmobile or the Batwing or whatever. And then we get the credits rolling. And during the credits, you actually see the fight between Damian and Nightwing, or flashes of it as the credits roll. So you learn that, well, yeah, Damian and Nightwing got some solid shots in, which is nice. Anyway, folks, that is the end of Batman versus, or Son of Batman. This movie was only an hour 15 minutes, hour 14 minutes. Objectively, it's around a 9, 8.5 to a 9. You got good writing, you got great story and whatnot, you got good digital mix. That's the problem. The digital effects don't always blend well with a cartoon medium. It just doesn't always blend well. But you do have good cinematography. This movie does a great job with cinematography as well. Score is very good as well. It picks up in the right moments, and it gets suspenseful in other moments. The writing near the end, where it's like, Talia, you should have said go instead of come. Yeah, that takes a little bit off the top as well, objective scoring. Subjectively, I really do like the DCAU, the 15 movie universe that they did. I think that it did a great job at telling a great universal story of the DC universe, from the Flashpoint paradox, what got screwed up after the Flash put everything back into what it was supposed to be. So yeah, this movie carries about a 10 out of 10. Moviegoer, it's a 10 out of 10. It's really enjoyable to watch. So yeah, anyway, folks, next month, this is the theme: military versus aliens. So definitely stay tuned for those. I'm guessing Battle Los Angeles is going to be the first one. I'm going to set that up shortly after. I got a video coming out after this one, so stay tuned for that. Thank you to Damian Donaldson, Hatersaurus, Neozoic, and Vanya for tuning in, and anybody else who has tuned in. You all are helping out the channel a lot, and I do appreciate all the support you have done. Sundays for October are going to be the John Wick movies, chapters 1 through 4. And I will figure out something for the, or I haven't seen the Continental, or I do plan on looking or checking that out. So yeah, thank you all, everybody, for tuning in. I will be on the Barroom podcast tonight. So take it easy, folks. And always remember, stay humble.